Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Kevin Hollis with Bass Business Solutions, and thanks very much for setting aside some of your time today to have a overview of the Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Very excited to walk through this new module for reporting that's included with Sage ACPAC now. And I guess to go forward, I'll start our presentation. Our agenda today really is to go through. Let's make sure my mouse is working here. Basically our introduction, so I'll give you an idea of who's on the line with us as well who's participating from Bass. Since ACPAC Intelligence has now been out for a little while, I thought I would share some success stories of a couple of the earlier adopters and how they're using it. And then we'll get an overview right into the Sage ACPAC Intelligence module, which I'll do. And then I'm going to turn it over to my colleague James Tang, who will walk through a more detailed overview of the application and actually get into the product demonstration as well too. And we've left a little bit of time for Q&A, so hopefully everybody gets back to work by the end of the lunch hour. So for introductions initially, in terms of who we have on the line with us today, I think we've got a little over 15 people with us on the line. Most of you out there are in the finance departments. We have some operations managers and executive managers that are looking at Sage ACPAC Intelligence as kind of a corporate performance management or corporate reporting suite, and also some line of business managers on the phone too, which are probably in charge of reporting and budgeting and forecasting for their own departments as well. Quite a number of you out there are in the not-for-profit world. Those of you raise your hands and know who you are. I think we've got one person in the retail space as well too. A little bit of distribution, manufacturing, professional services, some trade service as well too. I believe we've got some construction companies on the phone with us today, and also finance and insurance firms. So that's who's listening and watching to this, and hopefully we will tailor the dialogue to your specific needs as well too. Just to give you all a quick update as well on where Bass is. Most of you on the line, I believe all of you are current customers with Bass or know of us, but I just want to let you know we have been having a fairly successful last couple of years expanding in Ontario and have acquired a couple additional ACPAC practices recently. In the London market, which some of you are, you probably know Protect Solutions there. So recently in the market space there, we acquired their ACPAC division, and I've aligned with them in that Southwestern Ontario for IT services. Also in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, we've expanded by taking over the ACPAC practice out of a firm called Second Foundation, and that actually brought a couple more employees into the Bass fold as well too, with some great tenure. In our suites as well, some of you that may be growing and get to a point where you might even think that you're outgrowing the ACPAC solution. Some of our clients do that. We've brought on some other products such as Sage X3 for advanced distribution and manufacturing. A lot of our clients are adopting Sage CRM or even Dynamic CRM, which we support as well too and integrate into the ACPAC world. HRMS has become very popular, and for service, professional services, and trade organizations, the project job cost. And these are all suites that you can also report on with Sage ACPAC Intelligence. So as much as we're going to focus today on using it out of the box with the Sage ACPAC ERP suites that you're considering, you can also think of it as reporting across other operational areas of your business and not limited only into the ACPAC databases. In terms of Bass and what we're doing as well too in services, a lot of times people do use us for tactical projects and support, such as fixed fee services, help desk and that, or upgrades and adding modules like purchase orders and that. Bass has also rolled out a number of engagements that are more strategic consulting for planning and process automation, and helping directors of finance and directors of IT build out strategic roadmaps for the executive management team and board of directors to see where a company is going and what needs to budget over the next 2 or 3 years in major projects. So if that relates to anybody in the audience and you'd like to follow up on that too, by all means circle back with anybody here in your sales team. A couple of the early adopters of the Sage ACPAC Intelligence are a couple of our Southwestern Ontario clients, such as Goodwill, and a couple other not-for-profits I know on the line today too that may be in similar type of environments. But they have deployed Sage ACPAC Intelligence to do their financial statement reporting too, and now they're actually to break it out by all their retail locations. So a lot of us are familiar with Goodwill and Salvation Army and those type of outlets, which are a customer of ours in ACPAC. This gives a great opportunity to not only report on the store level, but also funder and project level for those of you into fund accounting. Another early adopter was London X-Ray Association, and this type of organization is a type where a lot of the doctors and associates that participate in it may or may not be employed right in the association, but members and have their own P&L reporting requirements and operational expenses and allocations as well too. So that's the type of environment where, again, very dynamic, complex reporting by different people, variables, almost slice and dicing and pivot tabling kind of analysis. And James will get into, again, how the product can bring that level of reporting into your organization. From a big picture standpoint, when we talk about Sage ACPAC Intelligence, the idea is really, I guess, quick access to information, and part of the process that we would go through with you in deciding, you know, is it a good solution to build out, is talking to you a little bit about the total cost of ownership. So when we think of putting business intelligence or business reporting into a business, obviously we want to help you get more information quickly so that you can make decisions quicker. The faster you can turn around information and decisions, the less time overheads are sitting and waiting. Also, a lot of times you can see data and information that might identify new opportunities, give you better cost controls by reallocating or redeploying services, and also maybe increase revenue potential by focusing on the right type of clients or information, or moving the right inventories and flushing it out of repositories and that too. So in this economy, all of us, as a matter of fact, most people on this call and most of our clients have actually done well over the last 2 and 3 years, focusing on efficiencies in the business versus maybe market share gain. But we are seeing now that demand is coming back into a lot of our clients for their services, and hopefully they're in a good position to react and be the competitors who didn't keep up with technology over the last year or two. Basically, within the Sage ACPAC Intelligence, there's a couple components in it. For those of you who live in the world of Excel, and I think anybody who's in accounting or has been designated understands that Excel is probably our best friend and our worst enemy. So in looking at Sage ACPAC Intelligence, you'll see the interface is very much like working in Excel and has a number of predefined reports that actually link into the core financials and distribution modules in ACPAC. So the reports are actually designed in Excel. You can turn on different module access for reporting and then actually drill down, much like you can in ACPAC, to detailed data that supports the reports. In addition, some of you may want to consider Sage ACPAC Intelligence as a consolidations tool. Again, if you're using multiple ACPAC databases, that's an option, as well as you may choose to set up a data warehouse and bring in data from other financial systems and still do consolidated reporting in Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Ideally, then, when the information is consolidated or reporting on, you have the ability to disseminate and distribute this information on a per user and security level throughout your organization. And I think James is going to walk through an example of creating a series of reports or workbooks in a distribution list and sending out some of that information automatically. And I believe some of you might even be on that distribution list for today's presentation. So with Sage ACPAC version 5.6 and 6.0, you have the ability to implement and install the Sage ACPAC Intelligence licensing. And in version 6.0, it comes with a free report manager license. So this report manager license gives you some basic functionality and templates into the financial suite and operations suite. And then in addition to that, you could potentially add other users into it for creating viewing licensing, a connector license if you potentially want to link out into legacy databases or other system databases, and they might be your retail point-of-sale databases, your membership databases, your funding relationship databases, your HR databases, and again, consolidate and report on all that information in one common reporting suite. There's also an analysis license and a new license that was just added for report designers as well too. So I guess at the conclusion of today's presentation, one of the action items that you may want to follow up on is circle back with your account manager at BASS, and we can give you a templated proposal to deploy Sage ACPAC Intelligence in a basic fashion with its out-of-the-box and training, and in that session also help you map out what future reporting you might like to do so that you can budget for it or get the appropriate training to do it in-house. We're also going to be making available, if you wish to, and follow up, some online training. So there's just over an hour available in 9 different sessions that break out anywhere from as little as 3 minutes to 13 minutes. And again, we can make this available to you online to introduce the topics to other people in your organization if that helps sell it internally or gets buy-in. But again, just for introduction and overview as you get started and want to play with Sage ACPAC Intelligence. So now for a product presentation, I'd like to turn it over to James Tang. James leads our product management for Sage ACPAC and Sage ACPAC Intelligence internally here at BASS, and has been consulting with us for a number of years. He's actually a partner in the organization and has done well over 100 successful ACPAC conversions or deployments. He's a chartered accountant, certified general accountant, and has been quite active with the CGA community here in Ontario as well too. So I'm going to turn this over to James now, and he's going to be able to get into the product presentation. Thanks very much.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is James Tang. So just give me a couple of seconds to switch over to my PowerPoint. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for taking time off their lunch break to spend an hour with us, basically to go through taking a look at Sage ACPAC Intelligence. So let me just get my PowerPoint up here. Okay. So basically, as Kevin mentioned, I'm just going to scroll through my PowerPoint. Okay, I think the purpose of today is really to my agenda is to, one, introduce the various components within Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Also, to take a look at the basic report design and how reports are created with Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Also, to look at. I know for the most of us using ACPAC out there, we're very familiar with Financial Reporter from ACPAC, and we're somewhat familiar, or at least know of, Crystal Reports for the various other reporting requirements. And what I'd like to do is maybe just take a few minutes just to go over the comparisons and how it stacks up against Sage ACPAC Intelligence. And most importantly, what I would like to do is just to show you what's out of the box. Okay, standard reports. So included with your Sage ACPAC Intelligence is the one report manager license, and with that report manager license, it entitles you to a set of default reports, and we will definitely go through them. And it is very, very important for you to understand that these reports are out of the box and can be connected to your data, okay, without much effort. Okay, and we'll also take a look at some of the popular add-ins that's available with Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Okay, then I'll go through the products with you, and if there's any answers, we'll definitely go through them as well. Okay, so these are basically some of the slides that Kevin has shown you earlier, so I'm just going to skip over them. Okay, so components within Sage ACPAC Intelligence. So we have the report manager, okay, which is included with 5.6 and 6.0, essentially entitles the user to design, create additional reports using the default containers or data containers that ships with ACPAC, and also to run reports. Okay, and then we'll drill down a little bit more deeper in a few minutes. Okay, so for those users that does not necessarily need to create any reports, okay, we have something called report viewer. Okay, essentially it's like a little dashboard, okay, a dashboard of available reports, okay, for the user to run. Essentially the users can select a report and put in the appropriate parameters. Okay, so one key note is the users cannot edit the reports, so there's no authoring or modification capabilities. However, it does give the users the ability to run the report at any given time. Okay, and what's more important is, as the creator of those reports, you could specify whether or not the report is going to be available within the report viewer, and then we will take a look at that as well. Okay, security within Sage ACPAC Intelligence. So essentially, there's two levels of security. One is something that we are very accustomed to, security within administrative services inside of ACPAC. Okay, and essentially that's modular level security. It allows us to define which user or which role has access to, for example, the connector module or the reporter manager module. So that's within the administrative services within ACPAC. Then we have the Sage ACPAC Intelligence Security Manager. Essentially, it provides a more sort of report level security. So again, we could define additional roles, okay, so administrator, management level, or board of director level, and essentially pick and choose which report is relevant for that particular group. Okay, so that's something very important. I know that there are clients with different reporting packages depending on whether it's for presentation to the board, whether it's just general distribution to the manager, or whether just any ad hoc reporting by any one of the staff. Okay, so it's more detailed level. And then, as Kevin mentioned, we have a license manager within Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Licensing is slightly different than what we are accustomed to in ACPAC. In ACPAC, we have the concurrent user model. Okay, essentially, Sage ACPAC Intelligence is user-based, name-based, and workstation-based. So I have, I'm using as a Mint within ACPAC, which is linked to my specific workstation. Okay, so that combination will entitle me as the user to use Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Okay, so as you can see, I do have the ability, if necessary, to reassign that license to my colleagues if necessary. Also, if we look at Report Manager and Report Viewer, okay, so essentially we could have multiple Report Viewer and multiple Report Manager licenses. However, licenses for Connector, Analysis, Designer, they're just one of, okay, whether we have it or we don't. Okay, so looking at the connector, okay, I think one of the impressive thing about Sage ACPAC Intelligence is that not only can I connect to my ACPAC data, okay, I'm also able to connect to any ODBC compliant data sources. Okay, so essentially we could connect data to CRM, we could connect data to your HR system, we could connect data to any other sort of data sources that's ODBC compliant. And it doesn't all have to be a single type such as SQL Server. Okay, and as you can see here, we could connect to Access, we could even connect to Excel. Okay, so I know a lot of clients, and perhaps some of you out there, essentially creates a lot of reports within Microsoft Excel. So we could essentially connect your ACPAC data in conjunction with your data in Excel, okay, and to present a final report. Okay. And analysis module, again, for those of us that like to sort of drill deeper into our data, we're able to then use the OLAPS cubes to slice and dice and to basically to analyze our data in a more multi-dimensional format. Okay, and essentially this is how we generate a report within SAI, okay, Sage ACPAC Intelligence. So first of all, we need to pick a data source. So as you can see, we could connect to Sage ACPAC, we could connect to Sage CRM, we could connect to any ODBC compliant databases. So once we select our data sources, essentially then we need to build the connection, okay, and define the data, what we want to include. Okay, and it could be a variety of drivers. Again, SQL, Pervasive, those are the two popular ones with Sage ACPAC, Oracle, and many other ODBC compliant databases. Okay, and we have the predefined containers for Sage ACPAC. Okay, so that's included with 5.6 and 6.0. Okay, and once we identify the data source, once we identify the data, then we utilize the report manager to essentially format our reports. Okay, and within that report manager, we have the ability to sort, filter, include parameters. Okay, so to sort of make it more interactive for our end user. Okay, and at the end of the day, the final product is Excel-driven workbook. Okay, so again, I think most of us are very, very comfortable with Excel. Okay, so, and I know that speaking with some clients, essentially at the end of the day, they extract the raw data into Excel, and then they do their magic pivot tables, so on and so forth. So if you are doing something like that already, then this is even better. Okay, so this allows you to connect to your ACPAC data more efficiently. Okay, and with the introduction of analysis or inclusion of analysis component, essentially then we just have an extra layer that allows us then to do multi-dimensional reporting. Okay. So I'm just going to, again, reiterate. So we need to connect to our database. Which database? We need to identify what data we would like, and obviously what expressions or what information. Is it going to be an Excel formula? Is it going to be a SQL formula? Or it could be just a data field within our tables. And ultimately, then we generate the report using the report manager. Okay, so this just reiterates the steps. Okay, so now going through just a quick comparison, and this is a very, very high-level comparison. Okay, so I mean, for the most of us, we're very, very familiar with Financial Reporter, and we all know that in ACPAC, all financial statements or all FR or GL-related statements are predominantly generated from our Financial Reporter. Okay, it's built within Excel. Okay, however, it only accesses GL data, and it could only connect to a single ACPAC database at a time. So how does Sage ACPAC Intelligence compare? Well, we design or we're capable of building the reports in Excel. However, we have the ability to report based on multi-modules. No longer are we restricted only to GL data. And more importantly, with the connector license, we are able to easily tap in to multiple databases. And whether it will be financial or whether it will be operational information or data, we're able to combine from multi-company. Okay. And with respect to Crystal, I mean, I think for most of us, especially as end users, we know how to run Crystal reports. However, if you were to ask, well, can we create a Crystal report easily? The answer is probably not really. Okay, so with Crystal, it absolutely gives us the ability to design custom reports, okay, from any of the modules, okay, and we could modify our existing reports, or we could create custom reports from scratch, okay. And essentially, Sage ACPAC Intelligence allows us to create reports from scratch. We have many standard reports, okay, and it's fairly straightforward to customize. Okay, so as you can see, Sage ACPAC Intelligence is almost sort of a cross between FR and Crystal Report. It has the flexibility of Financial Reporter and without the complexity of Crystal Reports. Okay, so these are some of the reports that we will be going through, okay, and all of these reports are out of the box. And I think one of the very important things I would like you to take away from this session is that if you are already on ACPAC 5.6 or 6.0, the reports that I'm about to show you in a few minutes, they're all prepackaged out-of-the-box reports. Okay, so you could use them right out of the box. Okay, so multi-company reporting. Traditionally, I guess with regards to consolidation, we have options such as GL consolidation, works very, very well, or we have Financial Link Pro. Okay. However, with the introduction of Sage ACPAC Intelligence, we can now easily connect to multiple sources. Okay, and all we need to do is to be able to, or to have ACPAC Intelligence activated for each of those databases. So it's relatively straightforward. Okay, and one of the neat things about these reports is we actually have a couple of drill down options. Okay, so as we will see in a few minutes, we have different reporting packages, okay, financial reporting packages, and we have, and I will demonstrate to you the drill down within the details within the workbook, as well as dynamic drill down. Okay, so there's two types of drill down capabilities. Okay, and this is what interests me a lot in terms of the add-ins. Okay, so we looked at reports created in Crystal. We look at reports created in FR. They're both wonderful. However, I think nowadays a lot of clients is basically looking for, well, how do I generate this report, okay, efficiently? Okay, a lot of times our Crystal reports could take a while to run, especially their operational type of reports. Okay, how can I, or can I have the ability to schedule these reports? And the answer is yes with SAI. Okay, once you schedule the report, can I distribute them through the email? And the answer is yes with SAI. Okay, or can I even then publish my report on my intranet or internet? And the answer is yes with SAI. Okay, and then we will go through all of that in a few minutes. Okay, and I think one of the challenges, especially with Crystal or FR, is, well, if I have multiple reports that I need to run, okay, I really do not want to run them one at a time. And with SAI, you have the ability to essentially run all of the reports you put in a folder at the same time. Okay, so, and I think that's very neat as well. Okay, so why don't we just then jump right in? I think on the bottom right-hand corner, or on that little sort of management console that you have, okay, you're able to type in questions. Okay, so feel free, if you have questions at any time, just type it in, and then maybe we'll go through them at the end of our session. Okay. Okay, so just bear with me for a second. You're probably seeing a blue screen right now. I'm just trying to get my image fired up. Okay, so I'm going to put it back to my monitor 1. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So as those 5, 6, and 6.0 users, once we log into ACPAC, we have the ability to activate Sage ACPAC Intelligence. And as we activate Sage ACPAC Intelligence, okay, then we have access to all of these icons, which we quickly went through a little bit earlier. Okay, so in essence, if I go to Report Manager, and again, keep in mind, Report Manager is probably where you're going to spend most of your time, okay, as a designer of those reports, and this is where we'll probably spend most of our time for the rest of today. Okay, so out of the box, we have analysis data, reports, the dashboard reports. Okay, all of these various different types of reports that's available to us. Okay, and to keep the integrity of the original report, what we would like to do is, as we want to sort of modify and run these reports, we could easily right-click, copy the report and put it into our own folder. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a folder called SAI Webinar. Okay, in here, I basically copied all of the reports I would like to show you today. Okay, and just to show you the various type of reports available, but more importantly, to also demonstrate some of the add-in functionalities. Okay, so when we looked at a particular report, okay, we have the properties of the report, okay, on the right-hand side, okay, and essentially I could show advanced, which give us more sort of settings available, okay. So when we create reports, okay, we could establish what data we would like to include in our report, okay. Do we want to have any sort of filters? And in this particular case, there's no filters, okay. Do we want to be able to have any on-demand parameters? Okay, so in this particular case, we're able to specify the fiscal year of this particular report. And as you can see, I could put a default, okay? And it's very important because sometimes when you generate a report, especially when you schedule a report, you don't want to key in the parameters all the time, okay? And as we sort of take a look, okay, these are some of the system variables, which means you can make this dynamic. Okay, so if currently it's fiscal year 2011, when you generate or schedule the report, it would then kick in 2011. Okay, once we sort of roll over to a new fiscal year, the system will be smart enough to recognize that, oh, now when I run my report, it needs to be fiscal year 2012. Okay, so this is system variables, and it's very useful when we sort of schedule and generate our reports. Okay. And we're able to actually sort the information, okay, before sending it out to Excel. Okay, then we could even aggregate the information as well. Okay, and this is available pretty much in all of our reports, with the exception of union reports. Okay, so union report is something that when we have multiple reports that we would like to combine together, okay, then we will have one main report that's connect to the various reports. So if we take a look at our dashboard, okay, that is an example of union report. Okay, so looking at this, so we're able to provide a report name, okay, and we are able to provide a template. Okay, all this report is template driven, and this is where we store the templates. Okay, now it's very, very important that when we generate this report and distribute this report, we may wish to protect the output book. Okay, we would like the user to have access to the report, but we may not necessarily want them to sort of play around with the reports or make any changes. So we have the ability to protect the output of the output book. Okay, we're also able to assign an output file name. Okay, and in terms of add-ins, we talked about a few key add-ins, and I just want to show you quickly. Okay, we could configure our email client. So what we're able to do is then schedule this report, have it run, and at the same time distribute this via email. Okay, and when we distribute this by email, okay, we could specify whether or not we wish to attach the Excel workbook, okay, under what name we would like to have the file saved as. And what's even more interesting is once you have the report, you may have additional schedules, additional sort of documentation that you would like to include with that particular report. We have the ability to attach extra files. Okay, so in this particular case, I've attached a description, sort of ACPAC report description PDF. Okay, you could attach a variety of reports as long as we assign or allocate the appropriate path. Okay, so that essentially is an email capability. And what's interesting is I also have the ability to publish this as an HTML. Okay, so again, when I run the report, if you go in the background, okay, essentially when I publish a report, then I have it available in this particular folder. Okay, if I double click that report, it opens up in Internet Explorer or your web browser. Okay. So those are two of the neat add-ins. Okay, and so why don't we quickly then take a look at other components. So for instance, okay, we have the report viewer. Again, this is like a catalog of all the reports. Okay, so for those of you that does not require the ability to make changes to the reports, then this is where you would be able to run the report. Okay, so this is slightly different than receiving a report via email, because receiving a report via email doesn't allow you the ability to select the parameters. Okay, you simply get the report as is. However, the report that are emailed to you, you do have the ability to do further analysis, and we will see that very, very shortly. Okay. So looking at the various reports, okay, the first one is financial trend analysis. And to run the report is very, very simple. Okay, we have this green sort of arrow at the top, or you could right-click and run the report. Okay, what I have done is I have pre-run the reports already. So you see I was running one of the reports at the end. Okay, the scheduling to run. So this was meant to be a surprise for you guys. I tried to demonstrate, okay, the ability to schedule and run the report. Okay, so for those of you that's registered, I think earlier than yesterday, okay, hopefully in a few minutes you will be getting this dashboard report, okay, sent to your inbox. Okay, I would love to just demonstrate to you the ability to actually use this product, okay, not only to talk about the ability to email or schedule the report, but actually do so during our session. Okay, so hopefully in a few minutes that we will be able to take a look at that. Okay, so this is the financial trend. Again, this is out of the box that is shipped with MacPack 5, 6, and 6.0. Okay, and essentially it allows the user to select any accounts within your chart of accounts. Okay, but more importantly, it displays the current and prior year data. Okay, so very neat graphical analysis. However, this is an instance where it demonstrates the dynamic drill down capability. Okay, as we highlight a particular field, we have the ability to click on this little drill. Okay, when you click on this little drill, it launches, okay, this schedule or the drill down schedule, and basically outlines, okay, the supporting information for that particular period. Okay, but what's even more interesting is as you do that, okay, what we do is we have the option then to send this particular schedule to Excel. Okay, we could create a new Excel workbook. We could create a new sheet in the active book. Okay, so with or without headings. Okay, so if I say a new Excel book, okay, boom, it kicks it out to a new Excel book. Okay, so for those of you who wish to do further analysis, we have the ability to do so. Okay. I think I need to make a note to myself. I scheduled the report to run right when I'm trying to demonstrate, so it's actually running in the background, but is competing resources with my demo here as well. So as you can see, it's actually running here as well. Okay. So that's the financial trend analysis. Very simple tool, right? But very, very neat little sort of report. Okay, let me just. Okay, and then we move on to our second report. So this is the financial reporting package. Okay, when we run the report, okay, this is what we see. Okay, we have the ability to choose from possible 16 different or 15 different variations, okay, income statements and balance sheet, okay? And this allows us to, first of all, we need to identify the categories, okay? It's matching categories between ACPAC system and Sage ACPAC Intelligence. However, once the categories are mapped, okay, then you are able to run your income statements and your balance sheets. As you can see, I have already done so here, okay? And what this does is it goes through and runs through a very fancy macro, and it generates a report in this format, 12 periods across, including with the quarterly information. Okay. Within here, we also have the ability to drill. Okay. However, this particular report is not dynamic drill, so it's slightly different. You see, I could say drill down to account here. Okay. Boom. It kicks it out automatically to the same workbook. Okay. And it's called Ledger Transaction Detail. Okay. And I have the ability to access my balance sheet. So a lot of times when you actually have your income statement and balance sheet up, okay, what we would like to do is we would like to link this particular layout, okay, as the instruction for the report, because in the future when you run your reports, both of this income statement and balance sheet will automatically be updated. So no longer do you need to go to menu, for example, and then click on, oops. Okay, just running the last one. So if actually any one of you receives an email, please let us know. Okay, I just want to make sure that it did send out correctly. Okay, so while we wait for this final report to finish, so how does the system actually know to schedule and run the report? Well, if we go to the schedule tasks, okay, we have the ability then to create their variety of schedules, okay, and essentially Sage ACPAC Intelligence has the capability of creating the instruction for us to insert into the scheduler. Okay, so if I was to go back now, you could select any one of the reports that we were working on, and there's a little sort of flash here. It's called Generate Scheduler Command. So once you click on that, okay, not the consolidated one, sorry. So once you click on that, it will ask you for the parameters and then provide you with the code. Okay, and it's as simple as going back to your scheduler and paste it into this particular field. Okay, and everything else is just, do you want to run daily, weekly, or monthly? Okay, so this is actually how the reports are scheduled to run. Okay, so it's very, very simple. Okay, so going back to our report number 2, so now to run any one of those reports, I simply have to click on the icon and give it a different name, Income Statement 2. And notice now in the background, this is what SAI is doing. It's quickly formatting the report. Okay, in this particular case is a 5-year comparison. Okay, so now if I was to go back to my report, okay, which is report number 2, I could simply right-click and create and link this template. And what it does is, in the future, when I run my report number 2, I will have income statement, balance sheet, and income statement 2 all available, but with updated information. Okay, so I have the drill down capability, but I also have the capability to say, you know what, I want to change it. I don't want December anymore. Let's run it for May. Okay, then you might wonder, hey, nothing changed. Well, guess what? If we score right enough, anything after May is no longer available. Okay, and again, this particular report is available out of the box. Okay, so this is a sort of example of drilling down right into the same workbook. Okay, report number 3. Okay, very similar, so I won't go into too much detail, but this again demonstrates the ability for us to select a particular number, okay, and now drill down. Okay. So it will kick out. Oh, there's no data. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that a little bit later. But this is the second sort of drill down option. Okay, so this will then create a schedule very similar to the first report that we saw, the transaction trend report. Okay. Inventory master. Okay, so we heard that Sage ACPAC Intelligence uses Excel to generate reports, and it uses the pivot table functionality quite a bit, and this is an example of that. We generate an inventory report, and this is a pivot report. So if I go to options, and I could just select my field list. Okay, you have the ability to filter. Okay, so you filter all or single item or multiple items. Okay, by location. Okay, by unit of measure if wish, but it simply gives you like a sort of on-hand report, right? Item valuation, okay, with quantity on hand, PO, SO, okay, and total most recent cost. Okay, because this is generated as a pivot table style report, then you could actually insert, right, whether or not you want to have the ability to filter by category. Okay, boom. So now this particular report is only linked to category A1 or category C1. Okay, so it's dynamic. So think about this, right? If we were to try to do this in Crystal, right, we will have to exit Crystal and rerun the report for category C1. Okay, the key advantage here is all my data is with me in this particular report. I now have the luxury to filter as I wish without having to rerun the report. Okay, and I think this is very, very significant. Okay, because then it doesn't take long to run the second report or the third report. Okay, and if you wish to add additional level of reporting, okay, you could do so simply by selecting more fields to add to our pivot report. Okay, so similar style. This is inventory pivot. We also have the sales master. Okay, so think about this, right? I think one of the challenges a lot of our clients have is, well, how do I provide my salespeople with their sales information? Okay, so with Sage ACPAC Intelligence, not only can you use probably the out-of-the-box report, the sales master, okay, because we have the ability to filter by salesperson. Okay, so think about this. We schedule and we run this report for a particular salesperson, and then we schedule it to run on a monthly basis that we email to this salesperson. Okay, so I think that's a very simple idea, but I think very powerful, and it definitely can be achieved with Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Okay, and the purchase is the same, so we won't go through too much in detail. Okay, but what I'd like to show you next is the consolidated financials. Okay, so the menu looks exactly the same. Okay, however, to go back and to demonstrate, if I go back to my consolidated report, okay, with the connector tool to add additional databases, it's just as simple as clicking on this particular screen, or the little box, the databases consolidated list, and you could pick and choose. So whichever company that has Sage ACPAC Intelligence activated, you now have the ability to include them in the same report. Okay, so that is very, very simple. So I know a lot of our clients have 10, 15, even as much as 100 plus databases. In order for them to consolidate, all they need to do now is just come down this list and be able to pick and choose. Okay, so now going back to the report, okay, so the income statement looks very similar to what we've seen before. However, every account is now tagged with a database ID. Okay, so not only do you get consolidated report this way, okay, what I could do is, right, I'm hoping my drill down works here. Okay, guess not. Sorry about that. But what I could do is I could go back and say, you know what, do a quick pivot for me. Okay, so you could actually create your own pivot tables based on the data provided. Okay, and what I've done is, this is impressive, but how do I know, right, what is SAM Limited versus SAM Ltd? So if I take a look at this particular report, okay, so I've done a quick pivot, okay, and essentially by segment code number 1, which is in most cases is our GL account number. Now I know, and I apologize, not very clear, column C is SAM Inc., column D is SAM Limited. Okay, oops. So I could easily take the information, okay, from my reports and then do a quick pivot as well. Okay, now I have a side-by-side comparison by my account number. Okay, and I think that's fairly powerful. And lastly, okay, I think we only have a few minutes, is we talked about FR has the ability to generate financial statements. We talked about Crystal has the ability to generate pretty much all the other reports, but modular specific. This out-of-the-box report is what we call the dashboard. Okay, and I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that some of you actually received this in your email. Okay, we now have the ability to have financial data, and from the GL, okay, and top 5 expenses, I have customers, I have items, top 5 customers and items, and here I will try my luck again, try to drill down, okay, and I highlight a particular customer, and now it basically tells me customer number 7400, the Yoshida Garden, bought these items on the same invoice. Okay, so even though we create a report, we output it to Excel, we still have the capability of drilling down. Okay, what's more interesting is that I don't need to be in ACPAC to drill down. Okay, when you receive this as an email, you do have the same capability of right-clicking and drill down to the report. Okay, so this report essentially demonstrates the capability of taking data from multiple sources. Okay, so think about, a lot of customers say, okay, well, can I put my bank information here? Right, I want to see my bank balances for my various accounts. I want to see my departmental, a quick overview of my departmental in the financial section, my top 5 customers. I want to see the customers that has the largest outstanding balance. So all of this is now possible, right, in a dashboard view, okay, because we extract the underlying data. Okay, once we have the data available, all of this is essentially simple Excel formula, Excel reference, lookup, VLOOKUP, pick list, index, match. Okay, so for those of you that are familiar with Excel formulas, this not only does it give you the ability to take out your data, but also it gives you the tool, Excel, which you are familiar with, to sort of format the report to the layout that you prefer. Okay, and one last report or example. Okay, this is probably the newest or the latest and greatest of SAI. It's called Report Designer. Okay, so essentially it's sort of a more user-friendly report designer. And if I was to go take a look and BI tools, okay, I could quickly generate or quickly edit, sorry. Let's say edit a multi-trial balance. I think I have that open. Okay, so it opens up a graphical designer for us. Okay, so I think for the most of us, this is now just drag and drop. What information would you like to see at the top? How is it going to be grouped? So in this case, I group on my audit organization. So for example, I may have company 1, company 2. It's now going to basically have separate columns based on those companies. Okay, and we have the various sort of parameters or headings, okay, down the side. So I am not actually 100% sure if this is available at the present time. If not already, it should be very, very, very shortly. Okay, so I have 2 minutes. Okay, and so are there any questions at this time? Oh, sorry, I have one more quick thing to show you, okay? Sage ACPAC Intelligence also has the capability to generate shortcuts to allow users to run reports either as an icon that we paste into your ACPAC desktop or simply on your Windows desktop. Okay, we generate the shortcuts, and I can now click on here, and you're able to run the report. So within ACPAC, it probably doesn't show very well. So if I go to my desktop reports, okay, so I'm in my Windows Explorer. Okay, I could simply click on a particular report. It gives me the capability to run this, okay, not in ACPAC, not in SAI, okay, but right out of my Windows desktop. Okay. So that's pretty neat as well. Okay. So essentially, to conclude, okay, I guess we'll just work this way for now. Okay, so what we looked at briefly for the last half an hour or so, we took a look at the various components of Sage ACPAC Intelligence, and we took a look at some of the sample shipped reports that, again, you could use out of the box. We look at some of the functionalities, the dynamic versus within the workbook drill down, but more importantly, we took a look at some of the very practical add-ins, the ability to email, the ability to schedule, the ability to publish to HTML, and the ability to run the report from ACPAC desktop. Okay, so this concludes my portion of the presentation, and I think we welcome any questions, thoughts. Okay. Oh, good. I'm just seeing some of the notes coming back that we did receive it. And so, as you can see, basically, as we went through the presentation, a report was scheduled and delivered to your inbox using the functionalities within Sage ACPAC Intelligence. Okay. Imran?
Actually, I'm here, James. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, great. I don't know if you can see any other questions coming in there, and I'm assuming if they are, they're coming in on the polling bar. Is any other coming in there for you, James, or is that it for the Q&A?
Oh, okay, let me just take a look. Okay, no, I don't believe there's any questions.
Okay, great. Well, we've run right about the hour we expected to. I appreciate, again, everybody spending the time with us today. I hope what you saw kind of was a little above and beyond what you do get out of FR today. Some of you may be using other reporting and BI suites in the Sage family, like the Insight suites and that as well, too. So as follow-up, if you do have any questions, reach out to your account manager here at BASS. We'd be happy to drill down on your requirements and if appropriate, meet with you. If you are upgrading to the new version 6 and are looking to have the ACPAC Intelligence installed with the upgrade, it is an option in there, and we'll include a couple hours of training and overview for you in the upgrade as well, too. So thanks very much for joining us today. We also don't forget that we have our user conference coming up at the end of October, and we hope to host you all there. Bring out additional staff if you can, and we'll have an opportunity to drill into some of the other areas. In our coming webinar series as well, too, please watch out for additional webinars on the other suites, such as the HRMS, CRM, and that as well, too. So thanks again, everybody. We hope you have a great day, and thanks for choosing BASS as your business partner. We appreciate your business. Thanks and goodbye.